Hi everyone and welcome to Mighty Kiddos. In today's video, I will be discussing early signs of autism in babies 3 to 12 months old. There's a growing amount of interest in autism, and early detection is key, as the earlier you know, the easier it will be to get services for your child. However, most professionals agree that autism cannot be formally diagnosed until 18 months old, and most kids unfortunately get diagnosed until they're 3 to 4 years old. However, I hope that this video can help you see the signs early on and get support when needed as soon as possible. Humans are social creatures by nature. So one of the earliest signs that we can see in babies that are at high risk of autism is that they are not following their caregivers around the room. So they don't see where they're going by 3 months, right? They don't pay attention to their faces. Another thing is that they don't react to loud noises and they don't grasp objects very well yet. We also notice that babies don't smile as often and don't babble as often when they're at risk of autism. They are also not interested in new faces. So if another new person comes in their direction or in their line of sight, they'll just turn around, like no biggie. And usually kids want to look at the person. They want to study their faces. So if you're noticing these signs, keep track of them and talk to your pediatrician. Whether you're a new parent or caregiver, I'd like you to download the milestone checklist down below. And this tool is meant to help you keep track of your child's development. That way you know when your child is falling behind, or you can see what areas your child needs more support in early on, because honestly, early intervention is key. So we want to make sure we're getting support as early as possible. Now let's move on to our second age group here. Now by 7 months, kids that are at high risk of autism tend to lack affection towards mother, father, or caregivers. They also have difficulty locating where sound is coming from. So if they hear a vacuum over there, they might turn this way instead of that way, or they might just simply not react to new sounds. Now, if your child by this age is having difficulty reaching out for objects, that's a sign. And if your child is not laughing or squealing or showing enjoyment in any type of activities, that's also something to keep an eye on. Now, another thing that we notice is that kids this age are not wanting to play peekaboo, and they're not trying to get your attention through actions. Usually kids will scream or will throw something to get your attention. So if your child isn't doing this yet, it's something to also keep in mind and to keep an eye on. Now, along with autism, there can be other developmental delays as well. And one of the things that we look for is if by 12 months your child is not crawling, we really want to talk to your pediatrician about this and get some physical therapy in place, okay? But it can also be a sign of autism. Some kiddos that are on the spectrum tend to have delays in gross motor development and fine motor development, which starts to become apparent at this age. We also see that by 12 months, kids are having difficulty using gestures to communicate. So they are not waving or they're not shaking their head no. And another thing is that if kids aren't saying any words by 12 months, that's also a sign of autism. And we also notice that kiddos have difficulty pointing to objects either in their environment or in pictures, like in books or flashcards. So if we ask them, where's the cat? They typically won't respond to where the cat is, and most often won't show any interest in the pictures of the books. Maybe they like opening and closing the books, or they like chewing on the books, but they don't really like to look at the pictures with an adult. Now that we've discussed these signs, I want to remind you that your child most likely won't be diagnosed until 18 months. However, there are things you can do and advocate for your child. So for instance, if you are in the US, you should look for early intervention services, right? So you can look for a therapist that can help your child with their sensory needs. If they're falling behind in their fine motor skills, you can get some occupational therapy for that. Now, I do have a video that will tell you more in depth of whether you need a physical therapist or an occupational therapist. So make sure you check that video out too. I will link it in the description below. Now, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below or reach me through a direct message on Instagram. I'm always glad to connect with viewers. Thank you so much, guys, for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.